Hi, it's James here from Food Matters, and today I'm here with Chara Caruthers, and we are going to be talking about a living science, an ancient science, an Eastern approach to health and well-being, and it's called Ayurveda. We're going to dive into this topic, but keep it as practical as possible because the times that I've come across this information, it can feel a little bit overwhelming. So we're going to dive straight into a lot of practical application here. Chara is a senior yoga teacher, a yoga therapist, and an Ayurvedic consultant with a clear and powerful message of know yourself and love yourself. You can find out more about her at blissbodyandsoul.com. Chara, how are you today?
I'm great, James. I'm really good. And it's good to be here chatting with you.
I'm excited to introduce the Food Matters community a little bit more to Ayurveda. I feel like in the West, we've rushed towards so many modern approaches to diet, and we're all the latest superfoods and the latest information, and yet there's thousands of year-old traditions in the East, like traditional Chinese medicine or Ayurvedic medicine, and they have this really similar understanding of the body in terms of balancing not only the material mechanical components of health, but also the energetic components of health. Can you sort of summarize for me, in your experience, what is Ayurveda? What is its origins and its implications for health?
So Ayurveda is, as you've touched on, it's an ancient body of wisdom. I often say that it's an ancient system of health and healing that recognizes the importance or the deep value, something that we're really beginning to come to in our modern kind of way of looking at things, the deep value of harmonizing what's happening inside of us with what's going on outside of us. So its origins are, it's got the same foundation as yoga. Sometimes it's considered the sister science of yoga. And so, in fact, most of the folks who are finding out about Ayurveda these days are finding out in one of two ways, either through their yoga practice. So maybe a teacher mentions something or somebody runs a workshop or something like that, or through having some sort of a health issue themselves and seeking to look at what you might consider alternative therapies for help with that. And that kind of points to what I might consider to be like the two main areas that Ayurveda focuses on, one of which is prevention. And that's Ayurveda's biggest area of focus. And also something we're starting to recognize is far more important these days. And the other is healing. And so Ayurveda does have a healing arm that has practices and, ways of approaching healing of various types of diseases, but mostly we're looking at the prevention side.
Beautiful, amazing. And it's funny because, well, it's not funny at all. It's actually very interesting because, I remember interviewing Charlotte Gerson a number of years ago, and her father, Dr. Max Gerson, was a big pioneer in natural healing in terms of pushing forward just new ideas into the medical fraternity that actually, hey, maybe detoxification, maybe higher nutrients and fresher foods can help heal the body. And it was a radical proposition and actually still is today, funnily enough. But she said something really interesting, that prevention and cure are somewhat the same thing. It's really, they speak to the same core message, because if something can prevent an illness, it also has the power to help treat illness. Does Ayurveda see this the same way? And how does Ayurveda approach this concept of imbalances in the body? Because I've been taught about them in terms of you have nutrient deficiencies or you're over toxic, but Ayurveda has a little bit of a different way of thinking about imbalances, right? Tell me about this.
Yeah, so it connected to this idea that you're talking about, this value and importance of prevention. Ayurveda wants us to understand that any kinds of disease, any kind of illness that we're really feeling, it has an origin somewhere. It starts somewhere. And if you look way, way back, if you focus way, way back to that upset tummy you had from eating that pizza, or to that off kind of not so great way that you felt after having that tough conversation with somebody, or that discomfort you felt sitting out in the cold, all of those little things are what we call the seeds of disease.